the Atlanta Falcons, who went through a crazy offseason between the draft, acquisitions, cuts, trying to figure out the money, the quarterback situation. Julio was on the move, highest ever drafted tight end. I mean, so much going into the Falcons season. 2021 expectations versus reality.
2021 expectations for the Atlanta Falcons, I believe, are an 11-6 season, second place in the division, a wild card run, a return to the elite offensive performance and status with Matt Ryan, the rook Kyle Pitts taking over and basically standing in for what Julio was able to do for them for about a decade and some change, and Calvin Ridley emerging as the number one wide receiver and really taking off. I think that is what the expectations are for the Atlanta Falcons. The reality, the defense is still a project. They're still going to give up a lot of points. They tried to address a lot in the draft, but relying on rookies to turn your team around in one season is not realistic on any level. And Matt Ryan is a very elite game manager. He's still not going to win these games for you. Counting on Kyle Pitts to be Julio Jones is a bit facetious and ridiculous. He's not Julio. I mean, he's going to be very good. He'll probably have a very successful rookie campaign, but Falcons Nation is expecting him to be Julio.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
This dude has never played an NFL snap. He's playing tight end. It's like he did have a couple of weaknesses while he was playing in Florida, and they didn't do a whole lot of winning out there. I mean, Florida was good last year, but I mean that
Kyle Pitts put them on the map last year.
The expectation is too much.
Yeah.
I mean, against the NFC East, I think the matchups are bad. Between Dallas, New York, Philly, and Washington, I got Atlanta going 1-3. Against the AFC East, I got them 2-2. Against New England, Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets. I think they can beat Miami. They can beat the Jets. I think they'll lose to New England and Buffalo. The 3 games you got because you finished dead last in the division last season. You got Jacksonville, San Francisco, and Detroit. There's one very unfavorable matchup that comes from that because of the fact that you got to play San Francisco, who is now going to be healthy. So I've got you going 2-1. You can beat Jacksonville. You can beat Detroit. San Francisco is going to mop the floor with you. Then your division. Tampa twice. Sweep. I've got you splitting with New Orleans, splitting with Carolina, 2-4 in the division. I got them at a total of 7-10. 7-10 will get them either third or second in the division, depending on where I sit with Carolina. So I'll let you know how I've got that panning out.
All right, man. All right. I see how you got them Falcons shaping out there. And I will go ahead and agree with you. You know, the biggest thing that I feel like fans are banking on is Kyle Pitts. What is Pitts going to be? And is Ridley going to be able to basically make it feel like that, you know, Julio Jones is still there or that he didn't leave, you know, however you want to look at it. But people seem to forget that it's hard for tight ends to break into the league and immediately find success. I mean, look at Gronk. It took him a minute. Look at Waller. Look at Kittle. Look at Kelsey. It took them some time to break into the league. And like, yes, you can make an argument that he's all of them put together and maybe he's talented, you know, more talented than all of them being the young age that he's at. But he still needs to find his time, and he does have a lot of expectations going into it. And, you know, it's a little bit unfair, but it's what the Falcons put on him, and let's just be real. The Falcons traded Julio after they drafted Kyle Pitts. Let's just put that in perspective as well. Now, another expectation is I know the fans are thinking now, because this is a huge quarterback draft. You know, you held the keys at number 4. They're going to expect Matt Ryan to be worth holding on to, especially with all the tutelage they brought in around him, everything that they tried to do for that defense, trying to get the offensive line right, because I've said it and you've said it. Matt Ryan is a great game-managing quarterback. Matt Ryan can win a Super Bowl if it's set up for him completely. I don't feel like the Falcons are set up completely. I still have questions about coaching. I have all the respect for Arthur Smith, all the respect for him, but you're still changing. One, you're changing conferences. Yes, obviously you're on a different team, but you're dealing with a completely different makeup than what that Tennessee team had. I mean, you're not having a 3,000-pound rusher, a wrecking ball, you know, coming through the backfield, you know? So it's not going to be that way in Atlanta. And then another thing is, with the third easiest schedule in the NFL, that they want to win at least 9 to 10 games coming up. You know, I mean, the Falcons have a very, very favorable, might not be third easiest, but I know they have a very favorable schedule coming into this year. And with everything that's happened, you know, bringing in Mike Davis, bringing in Kyle Pitts, you know, elevating Calvin Ridley to that wide receiver 1 spot. And the Falcons going 4-12 last year, it was such a roller coaster for them. You felt like in one point maybe they were going to turn a corner. I mean, at one point, they were beating the Bucs 21-0 in that one game. Then they turn around and the Bucs come back and cue the Atlanta jokes again. But when we look at the reality of the team, I think Ridley's not going to have a problem being wide receiver one. We know the route running is there. The guy's a workaholic. And I mean, overall, he's shown day in and day out from the day he's been drafted that he can be a guy to lean on. Now, wide receiver one is going to be taller for him. I think he'll adjust better than Kyle Pitts will. Then you look at Matt Ryan as well. I think we're going to see the same Matt Ryan overall. I think we're going to see, your maybe 25, 30 touchdown guy, probably going to have, 4,000, 4,200 yards, whatever the case may be. Extra game in here now. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe Matt Ryan's a 5,000-yard passer this year. We're not sure about that. But also reality is the defense. What is the defense going to be? It's still a question mark. And yes, you did get some picks to help that defense. But at the end of the day, we saw what they were last year with the passing defense. If the Seahawks did not exist last year, the Falcons would have had the worst passing defense. We saw Simmons get picked on. We saw plenty of players on that Falcons defense go through it time and time again. And that's what lost them a lot of games. So the Falcons overall, I'm probably going to have to go with you. Probably about a 7-win team. Now, they're expecting to win about 9 or 10, but overall, the coaching is still a question mark to me, so we'll see how it plays out. And as far as the division goes, God, the NFC South is so hard for me to wrap my head around. I mean, because every year it just takes a turn. I can't even place a division placement. I'll give you some wins there, probably about 6 to 7.